This time I'm going to be sculpting Bjorn, a human nature priest. Bjorn is a character played by Tom277 of Reddit who has supplied the details. I laid out how I imagined Bjorn to look on paper, then did a scale outline for the armature. 28 gauge wire, bend it in half, start twisting. Twist down to the hips, and I fold the top of the head down a bit. Bend the legs back, leaving some extra length to make feet and anchors for the base. Twist each leg, wind each end up the torso up to the shoulder height. I bend out the hip joints to make the tops of the legs and made feet leading into anchors for the base. Then I fold the arms back into the torso. The wire leaving the arms wraps back around the body and head to anchor them before I twist the arms themselves. Twist the arms, then define the shoulder joints. The shoulders on this one are narrower and sloped down. I'm going for a more slight build for Bjorn than for the previous sculpt. Clip and unravel the ends of each of the arms to form the hands, and then set the pose. These are the pieces of wire I'll be using to make his staff. They're the same gauge, 28 gauge, as I used for the main armature. I just twisted them all together, adding the shorter ones near the end to have some branches on the end, and that'll be his staff, or the base of it anyways. To make the base, I start with some solvent into the mold. I use turpenoid. I fill it with Fimo, which is the clay I'm using. I press the foot anchors into the base. I smooth it all out, and it's ready to bake the base. Start with a little clay around the head and neck, slowly building it up and shaping it as I go. This is the hardest part for me usually, getting the shape and details pressed into one side of the head without deforming the other. It's especially tricky with the head, and then getting it all smooth. I spent a lot of time between this take and the next just fussing with the details of the face under some magnifying goggles. I also did use a little turpenoid to smooth it out a bit. For the torso, I intentionally brought some of the cotton for the beard down along the armature to anchor it further under the torso, and then molded the clay over top of it. Adding the clay in little bits like this is a quick and accurate way to build mass where you want it. That way I just smooth it out without having to push much clay from one spot to another. The torso will be extra thin on this sculpt, so I can add his leather armor on top without it getting too bulky. Same approach for the thighs. So far all I've baked is the head. It's perfectly fine to bake the sculpt multiple times as you go, as seams in the clothing will mask any seams in the clay, and even without clothing seams you can smooth clay over seams between baked and unbaked portions to hide them. A little solvent will make any unwanted lines disappear. Working now from the bottom up, I add the feet, calves, and boots. Adding the folds for the tops of the boots is so much easier when I haven't baked the legs already, as I did in my previous sculpt. For the next video, I'll get the arms and leather cuirass done. By the end of that, he'll look fairly complete, but I'll still have a lot of work to do on his other accessories. Thanks for watching, and thank you Tom277 for the suggestion for this build. I'll be sending this mini to Tom when it's finished, free of charge, of course. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.